Welcome. You are on the right channel. Once upon a time, in a town not too big and not too small, there lived a young man named Agbenea. Everyone in the town knew him. He was very handsome, always wore neat clothes, and had a smile that could melt anyone's heart. Women liked him. Men wanted to be like him. Even children would wave at him and shout, "Uncle Agbo." But behind all the smiles and greetings, Agbenea had a weakness, a big one. He couldn't stay with just one woman. Even though he had a fiancée, a good and beautiful woman named Chioma, he kept chasing other girls. He would go to clubs, flirt with waitresses, and even lie about where he was going just to spend the night with someone else. He never thought it was serious. He would say to himself, "I'll settle down soon. Let me enjoy small." But he didn't know who Chioma truly was. You see, Chioma was not from this world. She came from a hidden world beneath the ocean, a world filled with light, beauty, and power. In that world lived beings who looked like humans but had powers humans could never understand. They could change shape, move with the water, and hear the voice of the wind. These beings were called the Keepers of Love. Chioma was one of them. She was sent into the human world on a mission, not to marry or fall in love, but to learn, to observe how humans love, how they forgive, and how they change. She was told, watch them. Don't join them. Don't fall in love. But Chioma was curious. She liked the way humans laughed, the way they sang, and even the way they danced when they were happy. Then one day, while walking through a busy market, she saw Agbenea. He was helping an old woman carry her basket. He smiled so warmly that even Chioma, with all her power, felt her heart beat faster. That was the beginning. They met again and again. At first, she kept her distance, but soon he started talking to her, asking questions, making her laugh. His charm was strong, but it was his pain, hidden behind the smile, that touched her. Chioma began to fall in love. She knew it was dangerous. She knew she shouldn't. But love is not something we always choose. Sometimes it chooses us. For a while they were happy. They went for walks, talked about life, and made sweet plans for the future. Agbenea told her, "Chioma, you are different. You make me feel like a better man." She believed him. But slowly, the truth began to show. He would miss their dates. He would lie. He would say he was tired, only for Chioma to see pictures of him at parties. She tried to believe him. She tried to close her eyes to the signs, but her heart started to break. One day, he told her he had to travel for work. He hugged her, kissed her on the forehead, and said, "I'll miss you." That same night, Chioma decided to take a walk. She needed fresh air. Her heart was heavy. She walked past a popular restaurant in town. That was when she saw him, Agbenea, sitting with another woman, laughing loudly, holding her hand. The same hand he used to hold Chioma's. He didn't see her, but she saw everything. She didn't cry. She didn't walk up to him. She just stood there for a moment, staring, her heart beating like a drum. Then she turned and walked away. That night, she stood by the riverbank. The moonlight touched her skin, and the wind blew softly. She raised her hand and whispered an ancient word. The water rose. She walked into it, and within seconds, she disappeared under the waves, returning home. Back to the world under the ocean. There, the elders were waiting for her. "You have broken the rule, Chioma," one of them said. "You fell in love." "I know," she answered. "And now my heart is broken." Another elder, older and wiser, said gently, "Did he know who you were?" "No," Chioma replied. "He only saw me as a simple woman. He didn't know I came to help." There was silence for a while. Then one of the elders asked, "Do you still love him?" Chioma looked down and nodded. "Yes, but I want to help him. I believe he can change." The elders whispered among themselves. Then they gave her one final chance. You may go back. But this time not as Chioma. You must test him. If he fails again, you must leave him forever. If he passes, you will know what to do." Chioma agreed. She stood by the water again, her eyes full of sadness and strength. She looked up to the sky and whispered, "Please, let love win." And with that, she transformed. Her body glowed. Her face changed. Her hair became longer. She was now a stranger, someone Agbenea would not recognize. She stepped out of the water into the world of men once again. But this time, she was not there to love him. She was there to test his soul. That evening, as the sun was going down, a woman in a red dress appeared by the side of a lonely road. Her skin glowed under the fading light. She looked calm but powerful. Her eyes, though soft, held a deep secret. She stood there quietly, not waving, not speaking, just waiting. She was Chioma, but no one would recognize her now. Her face was different, her voice changed, and her body looked like someone else entirely. The only thing that remained the same was the love in her heart and the mission she carried. A few minutes later, a car slowed down beside her. The window rolled down, and Agbenea leaned out with his usual smile. "Good evening, fine girl," he said. "Are you okay? You look like you need help." "I need a ride," the woman replied softly. "Hop in," he said without thinking. She entered the car, and he started driving. He didn't ask many questions. Agbenea often picked up women without knowing much about them. That was the kind of man he was, careless with his choices. As they drove, he kept glancing at her. "You remind me of someone," he said, "but I can't remember who." She smiled without answering. They reached his house. He offered her food and a drink, trying to impress her. The woman said thank you, sat down and looked around quietly. Everything seemed normal until Agbenea walked past his large wall mirror. What he saw made him freeze. In the mirror, he didn't see the new girl sitting on his couch. He saw Chioma, not just sitting there, but standing, her face calm, her eyes looking directly at him. He turned quickly to look at the couch. The girl was still there, but the mirror told a different story. He looked back at the mirror. Chioma was still there. Then something strange happened. In the mirror, another woman appeared beside Chioma. She had long hair and wore the red dress, the girl sitting in his house. Both women stared at him. Agbenea's heart began to race. He rubbed his eyes, shook his head, and looked again. The reflection didn't change. He screamed. Then everything went dark. He had fainted. When Agbenea woke up, he was on his bed, sweating. His heart was beating fast, and he was breathing hard. He looked around. The room was quiet. He sat up slowly, confused. He tried to remember what had happened, but it all felt like a dream until he saw her. Chioma. She sat quietly by the window, looking out, dressed in white. Her back was to him. She didn't speak. He stood up and walked toward her. "Chioma," he whispered. She turned slowly and looked at him with eyes full of pain. "You scared me," he said. "Where did you go?" "I thought you brought another girl to your house," she said softly, cutting him off. Agbenea went silent. He didn't know what to say. He looked at her, then looked down in shame. His hands started shaking. Tears filled his eyes. He dropped to his knees. "I'm sorry," he cried. "I don't know what is wrong with me. You've always been good to me. I've lied. I've cheated. I've hurt you so many times. And still you love me." Chioma didn't move. "I deserve to be punished," he said. "I deserve to lose you. But please forgive me." She finally looked at him. "I already forgave you," she said. "But I didn't come back just to forgive you. I came to see if you would change." "I will change," he promised. "I swear with everything in me, I will never cheat again. I will love you with all my heart." She stood up and walked to him. "We shall see," she said. Agbenea held her tightly, crying like a child. Something in him had truly changed. He felt it in his soul. That night, he didn't sleep. He stayed awake, watching her, afraid she would disappear again. But she stayed. The next few weeks were different. Agbenea stopped seeing other women. He refused to answer calls from old flings. He became a better man. People noticed. His friends asked him what happened, and he would smile and say, "I found something more valuable than pleasure, peace." He helped people more. He gave to the poor. He prayed with Chioma every morning. For the first time in his life, he felt like he had purpose. Chioma smiled more. But inside her, a storm was still brewing. She was happy Agbenea was changing, but the time was coming when she would have to go. Her mission was almost over. She had helped him transform. Now, her world was calling her back. One evening, Chioma sat with Agbenea on the porch. The sun was setting. Birds flew across the sky. It was peaceful. "Agbenea," she said gently. "Yes, my love. I have something to tell you." He turned to her, listening carefully. "I must go back," she said. "Go back? Where? I thought you were staying." "I don't belong here," she said. "I came here for a reason, to help you become who you were meant to be. That work is done. But I want to marry you," he said. "Anytime you are ready, I'm ready too." Chioma smiled. "You are ready, but I am not the one for you. You are now a better man. And soon, the right woman will come. I promise you that." "No," he said, tears in his eyes. "Don't go." She touched his face. "You passed the test. At first, I came with love. But if you had not changed, I would have had to destroy you. That was the law. But now I see a new heart in you." She stood. He dropped to his knees, holding her hand. "Stay, please." She looked at him one last time and whispered, "Sleep now." As she touched his shoulder, his eyes closed. He fell gently to the floor, asleep. When he woke up, she was gone. And this time, she didn't come back. After that strange night, Agbenea woke up feeling cold and alone. The room was quiet. Too quiet. He looked around, hoping to see Chioma somewhere, maybe sitting on the bed, or smiling in the mirror again. But she was gone. Her clothes were not there. Her scent had faded. It was as if she had never been there at all. Like a dream. But Agbenea knew it was real. His heart told him so. He called her name again and again. "Chioma, Chioma, please. Where are you?" No answer. He ran outside, barefoot, shouting her name. The neighbors watched him in confusion. Some whispered, others shook their heads. "What's wrong with him?" one woman asked. Agbenea didn't care. He searched everywhere. Her favorite places, the park, the riverside. He even went to the market, thinking maybe she was just pretending. But she was nowhere to be found. That night, he sat on the floor of his room and cried like a child. He cried until his eyes were swollen and his chest ached. He didn't eat. He didn't sleep. He just waited. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Chioma never returned. Many women came his way during that time. Some were beautiful. Some were nice. Some even reminded him of Chioma in small ways. But Agbenea refused to be with anyone else. "I'm waiting," he would say to himself. "She said the right woman will come. What if it's still her?" He changed completely. People were shocked. The old Agbenea was gone. The new one was quiet, respectful, and deeply spiritual. He started going to church. He joined the men's fellowship. He gave to the poor and helped strangers. He even started counseling young men about how to treat women with respect. Some laughed at him. "This one is lovesick," they said. But Agbenea didn't mind. His heart was full of peace, even though it missed Chioma every single day. 3 years passed. One Sunday morning, Agbenea got dressed for church. He wore a white shirt and black trousers, neat and simple. He combed his hair carefully and looked at himself in the mirror. For a moment, He thought he saw Chioma standing beside him. He smiled sadly and whispered, "I miss you." He walked to church and sat near the back. The choir sang and the pastor preached. Everything was going as usual, until he turned his head slightly and saw her. She sat 2 rows ahead. Her hair was neatly packed. She wore a blue dress with golden beads. She didn't look around. She just kept her head down, listening to the message. But Agbanea's heart began to race. "Could it be?" he whispered. He stood up slowly and walked to her row. She didn't look at him, even as he sat beside her. When the service ended, she stood to leave. He followed. "Excuse me," he said softly. She turned. It was her, Chioma, still beautiful, still calm, still glowing like the sun had kissed her skin. Tears filled Agbanea's eyes. "Chioma, is it really you?" She smiled. "Hello, Agbanea." He dropped to his knees right there in front of the church. "God, I thank you," he shouted, crying. People gathered. Some clapped. Some watched in silence. But Agbanea didn't care. He held her hand tightly, afraid to let go again. "I waited," he said. "I waited every day. I never touched another. I never gave up. Please don't leave me again." Chioma helped him up and hugged him. "You have truly changed," she whispered. "Your heart is clean now." They sat together under a tree near the church. He asked questions, many of them. "Where did you go? Why did you come back? Did you think of me?" She nodded gently. "Yes, I watched you from far. I saw your pain, your growth, your prayers. I knew you were ready." "Ready for what?" he asked, holding her hand. "To love me forever," she replied. Agbanea laughed through his tears. "I am ready. I've been ready for 3 years." They talked for hours. That same week, Agbanea went to see her family. Everything was done properly this time. No lies, no cheating, no secrets. They got married in the same church where they met again. People came from far and wide. Some still didn't believe the story. Others said, if Chioma can change Agbanea, then love is real. During their wedding, Agbanea gave a short speech. "I once lost the love of my life because of my bad ways. But I learned something. Real love will test you, break you, and rebuild you. If you pass the test, it will return stronger than ever." Everyone clapped. Chioma smiled through her tears. From that day forward, they lived a peaceful and joyful life. They didn't have much, but they had each other. And that was more than enough. Every night before sleeping, Agbanea would whisper, "Thank you, Lord, for bringing her back." And every night, Chioma would look at him and say, "You were worth the wait." Agbanea and Chioma were now husband and wife. Their home was small, but filled with peace and laughter. Each morning, they prayed together. Each evening, they walked hand in hand, talking about everything and nothing. People who knew the old Agbanea couldn't believe how calm and loving he had become. One day, their neighbor, Mama Nkechi, said to her daughter, "That man used to be a wild dog, but love has tamed him like a lion turned to lamb." Everyone saw the change, but no one truly understood what had happened. No one knew that Chioma was not just a beautiful woman. She was not from this world. But Agbanea remembered. He knew. And even though he never asked her questions about where she had gone or who she really was, he still wondered deep inside. Sometimes, in the quiet of the night, he would stare at her face as she slept and think, "Who are you really?" One night, something strange happened. Agbanea had a dream. In the dream, he was walking through a thick forest. The trees were tall, and the ground was soft with leaves. He was alone. The sky above him was purple, and there was a sound of rushing water nearby. Suddenly, he saw a woman in white standing at the edge of a glowing river. Her face was not clear, but her voice was strong. "Agbanea," she called. He walked closer. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Chioma," she replied. "No, Chioma is at home," he said. I am the true Chioma, she said again. You know this. You've always known. He stepped back. But you're not. She raised her hand, and the forest changed. Suddenly, they were under the sea. He could breathe. The water sparkled like glass. He looked around and saw tall crystal houses and people with golden skin and eyes that glowed like the stars. This is my world, the voice said beside him. He turned and saw Chioma, his Chioma, standing beside him. But she looked different. Her hair floated like silk. Her dress shimmered, and her eyes had no pupils, just light. This is where I came from, she said. I was sent to the human world, not to fall in love, but to study your kind, to see how you treat each other. I broke the rules when I gave you my heart. Agbenea stood frozen. I wasn't supposed to stay, she continued, and I definitely wasn't supposed to return. But something changed in you, Agbenea. Something pure, something rare. That is why I came back, because your love called me. Agbenea knelt in the water. Why are you showing me this now? Because one day, others from my world will come looking for me. And you must be ready. Our love is strong, but it may be tested again. She touched his forehead, and everything went dark. Agbenea woke up gasping. It was still night. Chioma was beside him, asleep, peaceful. He sat up, wiping sweat from his face. He looked at her. She looked human, normal, yet, after that dream, he could feel the truth more than ever. She was not like everyone else, but he wasn't afraid. In fact, he felt proud. He had married someone powerful, someone chosen, someone special. The next morning, Chioma noticed something different about him. You didn't sleep well, she asked. I had a dream, he said. A powerful one. About you. Chioma's smile faded a little. What did you see? I saw where you came from. I saw the underwater world. I saw you. She paused. Were you afraid? No, he said, taking her hand. I was amazed. I love you even more. Tears welled up in her eyes. Thank you, Agbenea. Thank you for loving me. The days passed. Chioma became more open with him. She told him small things about her people, the ones under the sea. She told him about their rules, their strength, their beauty. She told him how she begged for a chance to go back to him. They allowed it, she said, only because you had changed. But they warned me, if I ever use my powers again in your world, I will be taken back forever. Agbenea promised, you won't need to use them. I'll protect you. But deep inside, Chioma wasn't sure. One evening, they were coming back from the market. A man was beating his wife on the roadside. People stood and watched, afraid to speak. Chioma stopped. Her hands were shaking. Let's go, Agbenea whispered. It's not our fight. But Chioma stepped forward. Her eyes were glowing faintly. The wind suddenly changed direction. The man stopped hitting the woman. He looked around, confused. Then he ran away, shouting as if something invisible had chased him. Agbenea grabbed Chioma's hand. Chioma, your eyes. She looked at him. I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. That night they sat quietly. They both knew what had happened. A power had been released. A signal had been sent. And somewhere, far beneath the ocean, someone had noticed. After that evening by the roadside, Chioma became quiet. She no longer laughed like before. She no longer sang in the kitchen or told Agbenea bedtime stories. Her smile became weaker, and her eyes often stared into nothing. Agbenea noticed. He would hold her hand and ask, "My love, what's wrong?" She would shake her head and say, "Nothing, Agbenea. I'm just tired." But he knew. He knew something was not right. One night, he woke up to find her standing outside in the rain. Her white night dress was wet, and her feet were bare. She stood still, looking at the sky. "Chioma," he ran to her. "Come inside. You'll catch cold." She didn't move. He wrapped his arms around her, trying to pull her back inside. But she whispered, "They've seen me." He stopped. "Who?" "My people." There was silence. They saw what I did that day. I used my power in the human world. That was the sign they were waiting for. Now they will come for me. Agbenea felt fear for the first time since she returned to him. "What do you mean they'll come for you?" he asked. Chioma looked at him with sad eyes. "They will take me back, Agbenea. I broke the rule. I used the power of my world here. I wasn't supposed to." "No," he shouted. "You are my wife. You belong here. With me." "I wish it were that simple," she whispered. The next day, Agbenea went to the church and begged the pastor for prayers. "She is not just a woman," he told him. "She is from somewhere else. But she has a good heart. Please help me pray. I can't lose her again." The pastor looked shocked, but he believed Agbenea. He gathered elders and they prayed, fasted, and asked God to protect their home. Meanwhile, Chioma began to have strange dreams. She saw giant waves crashing on the shore. She saw golden messengers rising from the ocean. She heard voices calling her name, not with anger but with sadness. "Chioma, daughter of the deep, your time here is over." She would wake up crying. Agbenea would hold her close and wipe her tears. "I will protect you no matter what." But deep inside, he feared he couldn't. One evening, Chioma gave Agbenea a small bottle filled with blue water. "What's this?" he asked. "My last gift to you," she said. "What does it do?" "If anything ever happens to me, pour this into the river and call my name 3 times. Only then will I know you still love me." Tears filled Agbenea's eyes. "Why are you talking like this?" "Because I feel it. They're coming." 2 nights later, it happened. The wind howled louder than usual. The trees bent as if something heavy walked through the air. The ground shook slightly, but only Agbenea and Chioma felt it. At midnight, the room filled with blue light. The mirror cracked. The walls vibrated. Chioma stood up from the bed, her eyes full of tears. "They are here," she whispered. Agbenea jumped up. "No, I won't let them take you." Chioma looked at him. "Please don't fight. If you fight them, you may get hurt." The window burst open. A bright, shining figure entered the room. It wasn't scary. It looked beautiful, like a being made of water and stars. Another followed, then a third. "Chioma." One of them spoke with a voice that sounded like waves. "You must come home now. Your time here is finished." Chioma turned to Agbenea. "Forgive me." "No," he cried. "Please, stay." But the moment he reached for her, the light surrounded her. Her feet lifted off the ground. She smiled one last time, tears running down her face. "I love you," she said. Then she was gone. The room went silent. The lights faded. The wind stopped. Agbenea fell to the ground and screamed. For days he didn't eat. He didn't speak. The house felt empty, like a ghost had walked through it and taken joy away. Everyone tried to comfort him, but no one could. Until one day, he remembered the small bottle. He found it in the drawer, still glowing faintly. He ran to the river. He knelt down, poured the blue water in, and shouted, "Chioma, Chioma, Chioma." Nothing happened at first. Then the river began to glow. A soft wind blew, and in the water he saw her face. She was smiling. "I hear you," her voice came softly. "I still love you." Tears rolled down Agbenea's cheeks. "Will I see you again?" he asked. "One day," she said, "when the time is right. But until then, live well, love purely, and wait with faith." Then the river went quiet. Agbenea returned home, heartbroken but comforted. He never married another. He never chased any woman again. He told people his heart belonged to a woman from another world, a woman who changed him, loved him, and left a mark no one could erase. And every year, on the same night she was taken, he would go to the river, pour fresh water and call her name, Chioma. And if you listen carefully on that night, they say you'll hear her voice whisper through the wind. I hear you, Agbenea. 3 years had passed since Chioma disappeared. Agbenea lived a quiet life. He no longer chased women. He no longer looked for attention. He worked hard, prayed daily, and visited the river every month. It became his holy place, the only place where he felt close to her. People said he had gone mad, talking to the water, calling a name no one could see. But he didn't care. He knew the truth, and in his heart, he believed she would return. He had turned down many women. Some were beautiful, kind, and rich, but his heart remained with Chioma. To him, no one else could take her place. Then, one sunny Sunday, something unexpected happened. Agbenea went to church, like he always did. He sat quietly in the third row near the window. The choir was singing, and he was deep in thought. Suddenly, the pastor stood up and smiled. Church, today we have a visitor. Let us welcome Sister Chioma, who is worshiping with us for the first time. Agbenea's heart stopped. He turned slowly. There she was, Chioma, dressed in a simple gown, her smile gentle, her eyes glowing softly. Agbenea stood up at once, his legs shaking. He didn't wait for the service to end. He walked straight to her, tears already falling. She smiled at him and whispered, I told you I'd return. He fell to his knees, right there in the church. God, I thank you, he cried. People didn't understand. Some clapped, some stared, but in that moment only two people mattered, Agbenea and Chioma. After the service, they sat under a mango tree. Agbenea was still crying. Is it really you? Chioma touched his cheek. Yes, the sea gave me permission to come back, but only because of your love and your change. You proved them wrong. You proved that humans can love with truth. Will you leave again? He asked. She shook her head. No, this time I'm staying. Agbenea hugged her tightly. Then let us go and make our home again. Let us never be apart. A month later, they got married again. This time, in front of everyone. The church was full. Even people who didn't know them came to witness the special wedding. As the pastor blessed them, the sky changed. A rainbow appeared, though it hadn't rained. A gentle wind blew through the church, and the candles flickered softly. Many said it was a sign from heaven, but Chioma knew better. It was a sign from the ocean. A message from her world that said, you are truly free. Their life together was peaceful. They built a small school in the village to teach children about love, honesty, and truth. Agbenea became a changed man completely, faithful, kind, and wise. People now came to him for advice, and Chioma, she never used her powers again. She became a full human, with no secrets, no magic. Just a woman who had once been from another world, but chose love over power. Sometimes, when the moon was bright, she and Agbenea would walk to the river. He would hold her hand and ask, do you miss your world? She would smile and say, no, I have everything I need here. And he would reply, so do I. Years passed. They grew old together. Children in the village called them Mama Chioma and Papa Agbenea. Everyone respected them. Everyone loved them. On their 30th wedding anniversary, the whole village threw a big party. There was music, food, and dancing. Chioma wore a blue dress, and Agbenea wore white. They danced slowly, smiling at each other. I never thought I'd be this happy, Agbenea whispered. And I never thought I'd find my home among humans, Chioma replied. That night, as they sat under the stars, Chioma leaned on his shoulder. If anything ever happens to me, she said, don't cry. Agbenea held her hand tightly. Nothing will happen. We will grow old together. Chioma smiled. I am already old. He chuckled. But still as beautiful as the day I saw you on that road. She closed her eyes. Thank you for loving me. even when you didn't understand me. Thank you for changing me, he replied. One morning, Agbenea woke up to find her still and quiet. She had passed in her sleep with a peaceful smile on her face. He cried, but not like before. This time his heart was full. He poured blue water into the river one last time and called her name. Chioma. A soft breeze blew. He heard her voice again. I hear you, Agbenea. He smiled through his tears. She was gone, but her love remained. Forever. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I love you all.